He's the voiceover studio engineer of The Stars in Los Angeles, California, a Virginia Tech grad with a knowledge of recording studios unmatched in his field. He's a voice actor from Buffalo, New York, with 30 years experience in recording studios and behind the mic. He solves people's home voiceover studio problems in the blink of an eye. Together, there's no studio problem they can't solve, and they'll do it for you tonight. Welcome to East West Audio Body Shop. Now, live from a basement in Buffalo and an office in L.A., here are Dan Leonard and George Whittam.
Hi there, I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are
East West Audio Body Shop.
All right, well, as the sun slowly sets into the west from the east, you know, it's starting to get dark here in Buffalo, and it's still probably bright sunshine out your way as the voiceover nation spans 4 time zones. But we're here.
We made it back. You didn't think we'd probably come back after a 2-week break. It was tough, but we did it. We came back anyway.
Show number 14 of East West Audio Body Shop, and we're going to have a fantastic show tonight. And you have decided to come for the right reasons. The reasons are, 1, the show is good anyway. 2, we've got some great callers, but our special guest tonight is Bob Bergen, the voice of Porky Pig. I can never do that one as well. But anyway, he's going to be joining us in about half an hour or so. So stay tuned for that. And we've got, of course, Bad Audio of the Week. And I think George has selected another prime example. So how has your week been?
It's been busy. It's been the weather has finally turned to summer here, quote unquote. We're hitting in the 80s. I spent the last 2 afternoons down on the beach, which I swore that if we're going to live this close to the ocean, we would actually go there. So we're making sure we do that a lot. And I got to go see the granddaddy of webcasting, Leo Laporte, for the 4th of July weekend, who has a studio up in Petaluma, California. It's about 45 minutes north of San Francisco.
Right.
And that was incredible. Just, geek heaven. Not only is the studio like a lot like mine, but with 6 cameras and lighting galore and tons of wires and everything. But, they've got several thousand live viewers a week watching their show. It's called Twit, This Week in Tech, twit.tv. In fact, it's live only a few hours before we go live. So you can watch them and you can come over and watch us. But just amazing. But not only that, after the show was over, they did a 2-hour show, which is about average for them. Then he said, anybody want to go see our new studio, which they're building? And they paraded us literally 2 blocks down the street. Leo took us down there. And they're going from a 1,000 square foot cottage, an little old house, to a 15,000 square foot facility. And 30 cameras. They're going to have 30 cameras. 30?
All like little USB cameras? Or
no, like small HD video cameras like the one you're using, but switched all through, this super amazing switcher. But the reason why they have so many cameras is because they have many sets. And they all have different, each show has a different set. And what they do is the control room is not a control room at all. It's actually just a rotating platform in the middle of the studio. So if they're shooting this show, they rotate the platform so that the director and engineer sees that show. If they're doing that one, they rotate the platform. And they don't have to move a single camera. The cameras are already there. They're already wired. All they got to do is just switch to the right cameras. It's
television of the future.
Totally. I mean, he said it's cheaper to buy cameras than camera operators. So if that's ever the case of, assembly lines replacing workers, but that's what you expect. I mean, it's a tech show. It's about tech. Right. So it makes sense. But it was really fun, enlightening, and it really got my geek waters juices flowing. So
your geek waters.
My geek waters.
Yes. I'm not even going to go there. Anyway, my agent actually got me a great gig this week. And of course, and you all know how I feel about ISDN. So I'm talking to a business consultant, and I'm saying, yeah, my agent does, I've got a couple of agents. They're not getting me much work right now. I find all my own stuff, and I glance over and I notice on my computer that there is an email from my agent. What's your availability? Well, as we speak, my agent contacts me. This is how the universe works. And I had to get it. It's for a big national company. It's going to be running on their web, but also on TV very shortly for a commodities trading program. And they says, can you set up your ISDN? I'm like, I don't have ISDN. I don't believe in ISDN. I've got Source Connect. Don't they trust my audio? And he goes, well, you know how some clients are. And I'm like, okay. So not knowing I didn't have ISDN and knowing that I'm not about to go investing in that unless I'm making at least $1,000 every time I fire that thing up. I have some friends downtown with a wonderful recording studio, and they have ISDN, and they were able to book the time that the client wanted. And I just jumped in the car, and this isn't like driving all the way to downtown LA or midtown Manhattan. You go to Buffalo, everything's 20 minutes away. And so I went downtown and went to my friends at Crosswater Studios, and we did the session from there. 7 takes, 45 minutes for a 30-second spot. And they said, you're a free man. So I'm just wearing the sunglasses because I feel so star-like this week. But I also can't see a freaking thing, so I'll just go back to there.
Thank you for taking those things off.
Thank you. Was
I
it
understand.
Distracting or
No. Actually, it is kind of odd.
Anyway, I think we should get a caller on, don't you?
Yeah, I think we do, and I think this person is standing by. Actually,
and he's being very patient. Good evening, East West Audio Body Shop. Who's calling?
Hey, how you doing, Dan? This is Wayne.
Hey, Wayne, where you calling from?
Oh, from Asheville, Pennsylvania.
Just south of here.
which part of Pennsylvania is that, Wayne? Because I'm from the eastern part.
Well, it's actually just a little bit west of Altoona and northeast of Johnstown.
Okay,
Sort of central Pennsylvania.
mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Very
Cold
central
country.
Yeah. Hey, George, I'm really envious that you got to go see Leo Laporte.
Oh, are you a fan too?
Well, I used to do some newscasts for This Week in Amateur Radio, and I always was privileged to, from time to time, to introduce the Leo Laporte Report.
Oh, far out.
So, report.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the name, yeah.
I didn't know he did a ham radio show before because he just started a new one with Bob Heil called This Week in Ham or something.
Yeah. Well, he was on the. I know that they had some of his stuff on more computer related, in the technical aspects of computer and how computer related and everything. And This Week in Amateur Radio. So
that sounds fantastic. I'm
Great.
glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad. It's kind of fun to hear of people in different communities knowing who he is because he's definitely a big fish in a small bowl. And he knows that, but he's really happy to be in that bowl, which is an important thing to know.
Did you say he teamed up with Bob Heil?
He has Bob Heil doing his ham show.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because Bob is a big-time ham, apparently.
Yes, he is. As a matter of fact, I have my eye on possibly acquiring one of his PR40 microphones sometime.
It's pretty sweet.
I hear it is. And I wish my microphone that I bought here recently, the SEX1, was as sweet as the PR40.
The SEX1?
Yes, he has the SEX1. SE Electronics actually had the guts.
With that.
Well, yeah.
What's your question?
Well, I'm kind of wondering. I'm always trying to figure out where my, the money spot is in my voice. And my AT2035 works very well, but it's not as warm on the low end as I'd like it to be. Now, the X1 seems to have a little bit of that warmth on the low end. As a matter of fact, I'm using that microphone right now to talk
That's
to
what
you.
I figured.
That was my next question. What are you exactly talking to us
It sounds like it.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think it has the richness that I'm looking for that would bring out my money voice. And
Your money voice.
I'm not sure if, actually, I've probably done a lot better just in the few weeks that I've had this microphone with some of my auditions than I have on the AT2030.
Because he keeps staring at the word sex all day long?
Probably so.
George, you're catching on. All right.
But I'm do you have any recommendations? If I don't even know if I want to stay with this microphone, and I don't want to invest a lot of money. Yeah, everybody wants to have a TLM 103, or something like that. But is there something I can do with this microphone? My audio chain includes a Mackie 802 VLZ3 mixer, which is fed into the input ports of Roland's Edirol UA25EX USB capture.
Mm-hmm.
And
so your Mackie is your preamp.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, the warmth thing, it always seems like voice actors are trying to achieve something they hear on the radio, which is that overly warm sound.
It's not 1972.
Yeah, but what they end up doing is taking all that out again. Because what happens is if it's too warm sounding and there's too much bottom end in your voice, it gets mixed, it gets lost in the mix, and it doesn't cut through with the music bed and all the effects. Now, I don't know what kind of work you're doing, what you're going for, animation, whether it's animation or if it's, it's a
I tend to do a lot of narrations.
Narration?
Yes. Then you don't want you don't want to emphasize the bottom end on that. You want to sound as conversational as possible with something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do have to watch out for that. And you're not alone. I hear this a lot where people say, I'm not getting enough oomph or warmth or something. And actually, what you end up hearing a lot of the time is precisely the opposite of that.
Okay.
So the key is, and Dana says this all the time, Dan, you say it, it's about capturing your voice.
Right.
Period. Just naturally. Letting the producer on the other end make those calls, make those EQ adjustments, twist the knobs, and all that. Now, if your job is to produce it as well, then you have to wear a producer hat, and that's there's a lot more going on in that case. But 90% of the time, hopefully all the time, if you're just voice acting, you don't have to do all that stuff. So you shouldn't have to worry. You shouldn't have to worry about it. And as for achieving your money voice, maybe, Dan, you've got some more to say about that.
Well, I don't believe in I actually wrote a long thing about this morning, and I think Bob Bergen and I will talk about it a little bit later. I think it's a matter of specifically of what it is that you're doing. When we're talking about your money voice, what is it that you get hired to do the most? Is it narration? Is it doing promo work and imaging work? Is it doing trailers? Is it doing commercials? Mm-hmm. If it's one specific thing that you do more than anything else, and if you say you do narrations, probably a lot of e-learning and corporate promotional stuff, things like that.
Yes.
Okay. Like the rest of us, because that's about 50% of the business out there right now is that type of material. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to try and overemphasize your voice. They're not buying you for your deep voice most of the time. They're buying you for your ability to interpret the script that they give you and to sound as natural as possible and as intimate as possible without sounding like you're on, WJYE FM 96. We're not doing that. And I think it's a mistake a lot of people make. And so they go for the best microphone. And, and what price range is this SEX, whatever?
SEX1.
The one, whatever. Yeah, it's not one I'm totally familiar with. How much was that one?
I got a commercial playing right now. Trying to mute it. There we go.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're back, I think.
Yeah. Here we go. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
The question is what price range was the SEX 10372BXY? It was about $140, I think, is what it was. Okay. Yeah, such a deal. My goodness. That's a little on the low end for
it is.
I usually recommend anything between $200 and $500 is probably just dandy for our needs.
That is a condenser mic, right?
It is.
Okay. It's a pretty warm. I mean, I have to say that occasionally I do look for a mic that sounds like the one you're using, especially to couple with a female talent who has a really kind of shrill voice and you want to kind of mellow it out. This might be a nice mic for some female talents.
Okay.
So
now I like my I like my AT 2035. There's no doubt about it.
Well, you should.
And yeah, I guess what I lack really is maybe somebody who can listen to my voice naturally, and while I record it, and then play it back and let them tell me whether it's more in line with my natural voice or not.
Well, Wayne, you sound like you right now, and that's all that matters.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what were you pointing to, George? Was that a 2035?
That's actually a 3035, which is the
okay.
one the 2035 is. Actually, I think the 2035 is the same mic now. They just renamed it.
It is. Yeah, they just got rid of the 30 series and made it the 2035. And I'm talking through an AT2020 USB, which is like
Okay.
one, maybe two steps below that. But as you can hear, it sounds just fine. The thing about, there's two things here. One, a more expensive mic is just more sensitive, meaning it's going to be more problematic in a home studio setting.
Right.
And number two, a really low cost mic is going to not have quite the dynamic range that you really require, and it might distort a little easier. It's going to have a little bit more self noise, stuff like that, and that is also problematic with a home studio type of mic. So something, the 2035 is probably your best choice right now if you already own it.
Okay.
And the thing is that any microphone that's got 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz frequency response can emulate just about any other mic.
Right.
Yeah, as long as it's quiet, as long as the mic isn't making a lot of noise.
And as long as you know how to use a parametric equalizer, and there's some plugins too that'll emulate mics, but boy, is that expensive, and you got to have an iLok for it and all that stuff. But
one thing I do note about the X1, however, is that it does not pick up the background noise as readily as my 2035.
Right, because it's not as sensitive.
Exactly. Oops, and you're probably hearing something there because I just hit my pop screen, which I like, and I have a quiet studio as it is. It's pretty much sound conditioned.
I would recommend sending a sample of your voice, recording the same copy, 30 seconds of the same copy with each mic, and just emailing it to me or Dan or whatever, or send
Or
it to
both,
the Dropbox.
so we can argue about it.
Yeah, send it to both of us so we can, so he and I can argue about it. It makes it more fun. And then
Sounds great.
we'll just we'll give you our completely objective opinion as to what sounds better with your voice. Bottom line.
All right. Sounds great.
the
Hey,
best
thank
thing
you
we
for
can
your
do.
time. Thank you for the
Our
information.
pleasure. That's why we're here.
Take
All
it
right.
easy. Thanks for calling in.
Okay. Yep,
Thanks
bye-bye.
for calling, Wayne. All right. Well, we've got lots more coming up. We've got another caller in just a few minutes, and we have Bob Bergen. This is going to be an amazing show. I already said that, didn't I? I don't want to repeat myself anyway. But we'll be right back here on East West Audio Body Shop right after this important message. In the modern world of voiceover, whether you've got years of experience or you're a newbie, having a home studio is essential. A home studio is a unique environment. Every voice is different. Every room is different. Advice from friends is great, but you need someone with the experience of setting up hundreds of home voiceover studios. I'm Dan Leonard, the home studio master. Let me show you the best place in your home to set up, the right equipment, and how to properly use recording software. Plus, I troubleshoot your home studio nightmares. Wherever in the world you are, having a home studio is essential, but that doesn't mean you have to be a recording engineer. Let me show you how easy it is. Go to homestudiomaster.com or email me at homestudiomaster@verizon.net. I guarantee results. And we're back here on East West Audio Body Shop. Fascinating. This discussion about microphones just goes on and on and on and on and on. And, I think it's all very elementary, and I think people make it a lot more confusing than they really should. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the you just feel like you have to be competitive, not only talent-wise, but technically. And I think that's the confusion, is what it means to be technically competitive.
That's absolutely true. I think we can get into that a little bit with Bob too, and of course all of you. We want to see in the chat room what you guys think about this sort of stuff, because I find the discussions about microphones is basically mine's bigger
Tiring.
than yours. Yeah,
It's exhausting.
It's like it makes no. Why are there so many different types of microphones? It's because of musicians and saxophones and drums, and it's got very little to do with what we do as voice actors. And I'm sure there's a couple of people out there going, "What are you talking about?" Anyway, we're trying to get a hold of Brad Venable here. We know he's out there. Brad, if you're listening, call us on Skype at SoundGun. We're supposed to get you on here, but we can continue this discussion about microphones in the interim here.
Who's TDVI?
TDVI?
Yeah.
Oh.
In the chat room, someone named TDVI.
Oh.
I don't know. He said, "Did you get my question 10 days ago?" And I'm going, I don't know. Let me see.
Yeah. Well, while we're on the subject, remember, if you have a question for us and you want to be on the show, all you have to do is email us at ewabshop with one S, ewabshop at gmail.com. I want you all now to grab a pencil, and I want you to write that down, and then I want you to write us a question so we can get you here on East West Audio Body Shop, and we can talk to you and make fun of you. No, we don't do. We never make fun of these people unless you send us some really bad audio, and we don't mention you by name. But getting back to microphones here, there are only a couple of microphones that are really, really good for voice acting. A lot of people talk about the TLM 103. Some people say, "Oh, it's too warm." The thing is I use a TLM 103. I'm not talking to you on one right now, but a TLM 103 is exceedingly quiet, very, very quiet microphone. There's no self noise to it, and it picks up your voice and just about everything else, especially my dog's barking. There's a reason for that. There's a reason it's a $900, almost $1,000 microphone, depending on what sale they're having at Guitar Center that week. And so you want to be able to get something that's going to get that 20-20 response that you always see. And you want it to have a good transformer or transformerless like the Neumanns are. They're just well designed. They're heavy duty. They do the job. Or one of these other microphones, as I said, between $200, $250, and $500. Some of the blues, some of the somebody said, the AKG suck for this stuff. Well, okay, if you don't like the perceptions, then don't use the perceptions. If you're starting out, go for something along those lines. But the Audio Technicas are very good. We also want to mention our good friend Harlan Hogan's VO1A, which is a nice, mellow mic, works great with the MicPort Pro, and it works equally well with women as men because Harlan designed it to be a voiceover mic. It's not overly warm, but it brings out all the nice qualities of your voice. It's not that heavily colored.
It's got a little bit of a presence peak at the top, but it's nothing too extreme. And if you have to smooth it out a little bit, you can. But it does seem relatively flattering over a wide range of voices.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's an excellent choice. The thing is if you're all in voiceover now, you probably already have a microphone. So so we go into into some of the forums and stuff like that, and somebody says, "What microphone should I use?" Well,
start with one you can afford.
Start with one you can afford, which is why a lot of times have you ever done any digital recording? No. Well, okay. An AT2020 USB is a great place to start.
Sure.
You've got to learn how, just like learning how to paint or how to sculpt. Your microphone is a tool, and you've got to learn how to use it and not to make all sorts of noises with it.
Like you are right now.
Like I am right now.
A Gettig in the chat room says, what do you think of the new TLM 102? Have you tried it yet?
I did actually. The folks at Sennheiser, who are the distributors for Neumann in this country, sent me a 102 about a year ago. Mm-hmm. Actually, a little over a year ago, just when it came out. And I tried it for a day. and it's it's like a TLM 103 in shape only because it's smaller.
Yeah.
So the idea was, well, it's smaller, it'll be easier to carry around. I think they because it was smaller, I think they liked the idea of marketing it as a small 103, and it really isn't. I think it was far more designed to record saxophones.
It was very mellow sounding, wasn't it? If
No,
I recall, it was very bottom heavy.
No, actually, it was very top heavy. Is really what it was.
Oh, okay.
They said if you go through their literature, it said there is a large, not a large, but there's a pretty good uptick at the high end. It tends to emphasize the higher end a little bit better. Now, I'm not an expert in recording instruments, but I would tend to think that that's not exactly what you're going to want with for voice work. Everybody I've talked to who tried it for voice, who really understands what they're talking about, all went. So
especially considering for the $700 that might cost, there's just so many. If you have $700 to spend, there's so many other options.
Name a few.
Okay, there's the Mojave. Let's see, 201 FET. It's a beautiful, beautiful sounding microphone.
Right.
There's the Charter Oak. I can't remember the model number right now. I think it's the E700. E700, I believe it is.
Charter Oak is a housing complex around the corner from here.
Oh, it is? Yeah, no.
Golf course.
If nobody's heard of Charter Oak yet, I guarantee it, but unbelievable. We have one at the Don LaFontaine lab that they donated, and it really is an amazing sounding $700-something microphone. Audio-Technica 4040.
The 4040 is a good one, yeah.
Really, really sweet. Rode NTK is good on some people's voices.
The Rodes tend to they have lower output than other microphones. We have definitely noticed that. Mm-hmm. They don't work great with a MicPort Pro unless you run it with another preamp.
Well, the NTK is a tube mic, so it's kind of a different animal. But it's a good deal for a tube mic. You could get a used 416 if that's the kind of animal you're going for. $700. There's plenty of used 416 shotguns out there for $700. So anyway, you got that kind of a budget. And that there's a lot of options. Even you might even want to try out the new Sennheiser MK4. Is that what it's called? Their new
MK4
large dynamic.
Yeah,
it's $300. So that one might be cool to try out. I only got to try it at NAMM or some trade show, which is the worst place to test a mic on the planet. I mean, it's like you might as well be standing in the middle of the gymnasium, at a college basketball game. Trying to test a mic. It's ridiculous, but I hear that's a very full sounding microphone. So Tom Daniels is trying to call impromptu. Okay. So all right. He did have a question. We'll see if we can get him on here real quick before we have to go to the break. And he's gone because it went to voicemail. And he's calling back, and here he is. All right, let's see if we can get Tom on the air.
Hi, Tom. There, Tom.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Tom.
Put on your headphones and turn down your stereo.
Hold on, let me kill my speakers.
Thank you.
Okay. Hold on, let me kill my speakers. Oh, boy.
Okay.
I've got
First time call, long time listener.
George was... Oh, wait a minute.
Now the ad's done.
Anyway, the question that I had for you was, I'm having a problem with my Avalon preamp. I kind of figured out that I needed to replace the tubes, but I don't have a manual, and I have no idea where do you take it? Where do you open it up to put the new tubes in?
Well, let's just start by calling Avalon, because they'll tell you how to replace them, and they'll sell you the right tubes. But if you're not buying them from Avalon, then you take all the screws off the top lid, you pop off the lid, pull out the 4 tubes, put the 4 new ones in. They're all the same 4 tubes. And it's pretty darn easy. Yeah, it's just all the screws on the lid. Take them all off. The lid comes off. There they are. Is that pretty clear? Maybe that's not enough information, but maybe we lost you.
Yep, maybe. Well, that's the way it goes. All right. Well,
check.
There's a whole in the preamps. There's a whole nother hour we could talk about it. Avalon's nice preamp, but again, tubes, because he wants warmth.
Yeah.
You know, there's a great other way to get warmth, and that's proximity effect. It works just as well. Anyway.
That's right. Getting real close to your microphone.
Yes, that's right. And there's a physical reason for that, but anyway. Okay, we've got Bob Bergen coming up in just a couple of minutes. So I suggest you stay right where you are. We'll be right back on East West Audio Body Shop with Bob Bergen, and we'll be right back.
Here it comes. Hi there, this is George Whittam from Eldorado Recording Services on the web at vostudiotech.com. And I'd like to tell you about our webinar coming up on Twisted Wave in conjunction with voiceoverextra.com. We're going to take you through preferences, file management, keyboard shortcuts, using the audio units effects that come on your Mac, creating effect stacks, which really saves tremendous amounts of time when you're doing editing, exporting files in different formats, how to do batch processing, which if you do any narration or book on tape, IVR especially, saves tremendous amounts of time. So please sign up. It's only $39 to be a part of this webinar. And if you can't be on the call live, which is Monday, July 18th, 2011, you'll get a recording of the call later on. So don't worry about it. And I'll even take questions by email. So be there if you want to learn a few new tricks about Twisted Wave that are really going to propel you forward and make you save tremendous amounts of time while editing. This is the webinar for you. Be there.
And we're back here on East West Audio Body Shop, a midsummer episode number 14 of this show. I think we might actually get it down after one of these shows, George.
We're getting there.
Almost.
I'm aiming for show 20.
Hey, we get to show 20, that'll be great. We get to show 26, then we've done an entire year on network TV.
Network. The new network.
That's right. It's Ustream, anyway. Yeah. But this is the new TV.
It is.
Anyway, so we've got ourselves a really special guest this week, as we do every week, but this one's especially special. Okay, the guy we had on 2 weeks ago, John Taylor, he was really great, but here's one of the giants of the industry, and he's actually pretty tall too. Welcome to the show, Bob Bergen.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Not too much. Well, lots. George is busy there with the Hydra.
I'm pushing a lot of buttons. But, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it feels good.
It is.
Yeah. Where are you today, Bob?
I'm in my office. I'm sitting here kind of editing some auditions for tomorrow and waiting for your phone call. So, it's the weekend, but as a voice person, the week never stops.
Did you hear that, everybody? Bob is doing auditions, just so everybody knows that.
Oh, yeah.
It's Sunday.
Oh, yeah. If I want to work.
Yeah, people have this misconception that even established voice talent doesn't have to audition.
I'll tell you, I'm doing a show right now called The Looney Tunes Show. I did the pilot, and after I did the pilot, they held auditions. So I had to re-audition for my own character to save my job after doing the pilot of the show. So, you're a voice person. Your job is to audition, and the work is the easy part.
No kidding.
Yeah, but now you've been doing it for a while, and you specialize mostly in animation, and people know you for that. Especially for, as you like to say, the kosher voice of Porky the Pig. And what other types of stuff have you found yourself doing?
Even though I do a lot of animation, my day-to-day is commercial. So, those of us who are known for animation, the reason we're known for animation is it's high profile, but man, the day-to-day to any voice actor is commercial voiceover. But oh my goodness, I've got half a dozen radio imaging stations. I've done promos for Disney Channel, Fox, WB, CBS, NBC. Lots of games. I've done a live show announce. So I'm an all-purpose voice guy.
That's good. And that's and you understand that there are all these different multiple genres of things. Although you probably don't do a lot of e-learning or maybe do some documentary work.
I've not. No, I've never actually done any e-learning. I've done a lot of narration
Yeah.
for cable television, but and I haven't done audiobooks. So that end of the business I've never really gotten into.
Right. Well, you do a lot of the short format stuff, and it takes a unique talent to do that. And everybody's like, how do you get to do all this short format stuff? I tend to specialize in much longer format material, and when a commercial comes along, I go, yes. But there's lots of opportunity out there. To the average voiceover guy or gal that's out there listening or watching right now, or both, if they can't hear, they're in the wrong business. If you're really trying to find your niche, how would you say when you're in your classes, how do you tell people how to find their niche?
The thing about voiceover today that's different from when I started 30 years ago is voiceover has kind of followed everybody across the country by way of this thing we're doing right now called the internet. So you don't have to live in the major markets to pursue voiceover. I think everybody really does have to do commercials if you want to work in the voiceover industry. But diversity is key. The more genres of voiceover you do, the busier you're going to be. I think the problem is people think, A, it's about how I sound, and B, once I get an agent, my job is done. In fact, Dan and I were on a forum earlier today talking about agents and how necessary or unnecessary they are.
Yeah, we were on a tear.
You have to treat this like a business. This is a business. It's not just I've got an agent, now I can sit back and wait for the work to come in. Once you have representation, that's where the hard work comes in. I think that the problem with most people is they think it's about my voice. I bought myself a microphone. I've got ISDN. Now I'm ready to go. And if I were to set 100 prospective voice talent down and say, what are your goals? Tell me your business plan. They would give me a blank look, because it is a business. You have to have a business plan. If you're commercial, if you're a commercial voiceover actor, know what you do and what you don't do, and market towards what you do. And what I mean by that is, if you're advertising cars, are you Lincoln Town Car or Hyundai? If it's soap, are you Dove or Zest? If it's stores, are you Saks Fifth Avenue or The Gap? And whatever it is you do it well. Don't dwell on what you don't do, but you need to market to the buyers that would hire your type, and you need to know what your type is and how it fits into the market today.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe in branding? I mean, that's a real buzzword out in L.A.
Solidly, yeah. I believe in branding. I think it's just like you are the CEO of a corporation called you. You're the sales manager, the accountant, the marketer, and you're also the product. And you have to brand that. If you don't, you are just blindly trying to get a job. But if you know how to brand yourself, you know how to market towards what your brand. Basically, your job as the sales manager of your brand is to marry your brand with a product. So you need to know how to take any piece of copy and adjust it in your read to make your brand fit their campaign. Most people have no idea how to do that. I took classes in marketing. I took classes in how to be an agent. So I knew what my agent did for me. I treated this like a business, so when I get a piece of copy, I'm able to take my brand and marry it to the copywriter's intent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wish more college courses or even any program, even undergraduate, would go into more business stuff.
Well, George, I did a seminar years ago, and it was a panel. It was me, Kathy Calvinson, Rodney Salisbury, and this unknown wannabe named Don LaFontaine. I hope he did okay with himself. But Don was talking about how, most people who go into voiceover aren't actors. They have no idea what to do with those words. They don't know what to do with what they have to offer. And Kathy Calvinson chimed in and said, the reason why celebrities have no problem doing voiceover is because when the celebrity's called to do an ad campaign, they know that that advertiser is looking for that celebrity to present who they are in movies and TV shows. Where if most scale voiceover actors, what I mean by that is non-celebrity, knew who they were, they would establish their brand in the first word of that audition and have a better chance of nailing that job because they've got some kind of confidence in their delivery as to who they are and what their brand is. That's what a brand is. If you know your brand, you know how to deliver it consistently, and basically by virtue of your audition, you're talking the buyer into marrying your brand with their product.
I don't think I've ever heard it described so clearly before. It's like, it doesn't matter whether you're a celebrity or, at the end of the day, nobody has to know. Obviously, celebrities are in a different category, but celebrities already know who they are. They know who their brand is. Whether
Absolutely.
they established it themselves or it was established for them, they know what it is. But everybody else has to do the same thing.
They know they're being called to be the voice of a certain product because of who they are. They don't get up to the mic and try to please the buyer. See, that's the other big mistake actors make, voice actors. They put on voiceover voice as soon as they get in front of the mic because they think they have to do something to please the buyer to get the job. What they need to do is be themselves and establish their brand within the first 4 seconds. Once they do that with confidence, their performance, I think of an audition as a party, and you're the host. And your job at the party is to invite others. The invitation goes to the buyer. Oh, my God, that's the best party I've heard. I've heard 50 parties. That's the best party I've heard. I want to be a part of that party.
I'm writing
and
that.
Celebrities don't have to worry about that.
I hope I remember to hit record. Yeah, I think I did hit record. Thank goodness. No, yeah, that's some really sage advice. And it's not my world, but as the more I'm working with all these amazing talent, I hear these things, and of course, residually, people start to ask me these kinds of questions. So just hearing it from you now is really going to be helpful to others that these questions may come up from time to time, because they do come up. People ask me about branding.
I will tell you that when I get an audition, I don't even look at the specs. I go into my booth and I give a read. And after that, then I look at the specs. And if my interpretation is vastly different than the writer's intent, then I give a take two. And I give them the writer's intent, because there were a lot of approvals to get to this point. Now, my first take that they hear will be the writer's intent. The second take they hear will be what I think will nail me the job. But I always give them the writer's intent first.
You got to give them what they want first.
Well, there's a reason why it got to you with these specs. But my brand doesn't necessarily fit their specs. So I want to give them their intent first. And take two, if it's vastly different, if my brand is vastly different, then I'm going to submit it. If it's not vastly different, I'll submit just one take, and it'll be theirs.
Yeah, that's a key thing I've heard other coaches say. That don't submit two similar versions. They got to be different.
Right. Yeah, you've got to be able to take
absolutely.
a chance. Yeah. You've got to be willing to jump outside your comfort zone and try something a little different, something that's going to grab people's attention. I know anytime that I've, you'll get an audition and you'll go, something says I should do it this way. That little muse in you says, do it this way. And my I used to be in the insurance business. My closing ratio on those, my getting the gig on those was very, very high, because I did something very, very unique in that particular audition. And it's they call somebody calls you back, we want you for this. You go, I knew you were going to do that. You were talking a little bit about when you go into your booth, and we sort of specialize and centralize around home studio stuff here on East West Audio Body Shop. What do you use in your home studio, and what's your philosophy on a home studio?
I have to tell people that I am such a technical idiot that if I can do it, anybody can. I actually have a big old honkin' solid acoustic systems booth that I bought from Randy Thomas when she moved out of L.A. and built a beautiful home studio in Florida. So what I have, I've got this big, thick, solid studio because I've got 12-foot ceilings and a big old huge wall of glass. So I needed something a little bit more soundproof. I got to tell you, George, I've contacted you myself, and I've sent people to you who I've got $300. What do I do? And I know you've got an answer. But I had a Sennheiser mic for the longest time in my booth, and then Pat Fraley, I love you if you're listening, Pat, as a gift gave me this. I don't even know what the brand is, but he called it the Chinese Neumann, and he said it wasn't that expensive. They don't make it anymore, but it makes me sound better than my Sennheiser. So for a recording program, I use a very old program called Cool Edit, which is an old version of Adobe Audition. It's very user-friendly. It does what I need to do. I don't produce. I don't have ISDN. I don't need ISDN. So I really have a minimal setup, but I have what I need for what I need.
That's the key. You know what you need. You don't need any more than that. And I think a lot of new voice actors are coming at it. I'm hearing more and more voice actors who are coming at it from a technical side. that we're engineers.
And you know what? God bless them. God bless them. My last trip I took, I popped you a note, and I said, I'm not happy with my Snowball recommended travel mic, and you recommended this, I think it was a Shure USB mic that was fantastic.
PG42.
It did the trick. It wasn't real expensive, and I thank you for that, my friend.
Well, yeah, it's just the right tool for the job, and not knowing that you don't need a huge toolbox of tools. You just need 2 or 3 of the right tools.
Exactly.
And we're the 2 tools for the job, me and Dan. No.
and the thing with today is there's so many people like you guys who are resources for actors in any area and any price range to do and get what they need.
Yeah, it really isn't rocket science. But I'm shocked. I thought you actually used that Shure V2 that you always have in your publicity still with Porky Pig on your shoulder. But
that's too funny. You know what? My friend Jane gave me that as a gift. It's not hooked up to anything, and I was doing a day of headshots, and I said, let's do one picture with this microphone, and so that's all we did.
There you go.
Yeah. Those were great microphones in 19.
Those were great, and you know what? They look cool.
They do. I got a whole collection of them. It's just something that some of us voice people do and all radio people do. Well, Bob, it has been a super duper pleasure that you've been with us tonight. And what exactly are you up to now? You have any seminars coming up or anything that people might want to be attending?
You know what? I'm done teaching around the country. I've got my LA class. If people are interested in having me come to their town in 2012. I'm taking requests, so I'll be probably setting my 2012 schedule in the next few months, so they can email me, bob@bobbergen.com, or check out my website. And but this year I was in New York and Atlanta and St. Louis, so I'm all over the place.
Are you doing your one-man show any place?
Not this year, but I got some inquiries about doing it again in New York. I did it in New York a couple of years ago, and I might do that again in 2012 too.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Good.
Thanks for taking the time out of your Sunday.
Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me, guys. This was fun.
Real pleasure.
Right. You got to make it to FAFCon one of these times, or we'll see you in L.A.
You know what? Let me know. I'm there.
Awesome, man.
All right.
All right,
now
guys.
that's what I want to hear.
Take care.
Take care, Bob.
Take care, guys.
Have a good night.
Awesome.
Bob Bergen, the voice of Porky Pig. We didn't really talk about that much, but I don't think he likes to talk about that so much as he does the kind of stuff that he was just talking about. And he knows the business, and you got to listen to people like that because they know what it's about. And he's willing to give back, which is really important.
Yeah, we only had him for, we only get him for 15, 20 minutes during our show. So I think that was like 20 minutes of like really juicy stuff.
I took some good notes. There were some juicy things in there, and I'm sure everybody who's listening in probably agrees. Well, we've got some more stuff coming up. We've got Bad Audio of the Week, which I am just dying to hear what you got for us this week, George. And we've got another caller, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. I'll just do it in slow motion.
VoiceOver Extra, the voiceover industry's online news, education, and resource center 24/7. Hundreds, probably thousands of free how-to articles for voiceover success, ranging from home studio to voice acting to business. A free voiceover industry directory, calendar of industry events, resource links, a store, and much more. Bi-monthly webinars on all topics of voiceover, free subscriptions to newsletters, reports, announcements, daily news, and features at voiceoverextra.com.
And we're back. Our thanks again to Bob Bergen for joining us here on East West Audio Body Shop. Again, if you have a question for George and I to discuss and possibly solve a problem, or if just some industry thing, we love to talk about. This is an industry program, and we want to hear from you. Write to us at ewabshop@gmail.com, or maybe write a question down on our Facebook page or eWabs group, and we'll try to get you on the air. Like our next caller who has a question for us. Good evening. You're on East West Audio Body Shop. Who is calling?
Hey, George Den, it's Tom from Toronto. How are you?
Tom from Toronto. All right,
Yeah.
just north of here.
That's right.
Hey,
I
Tom.
have a couple of questions regarding feedback noises.
Feedback noises. Okay.
Specifically, cracking sound when I'm playing back my audio edition.
Diane, your darn thing is still going off on me here.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Sorry, Tom.
Okay. A cracking sound when you play back your auditions, or a pinging sound as if someone would say flickering a finger on top of your microphone.
You mean like
Cracking sound during playback.
Oh, I know what he's talking about. The dropouts, little snaps and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, those are dropouts. That generally is an indication of a failure of some sort in your analog to digital converter, and you can see it. You know, it depends on how you're looking at it. If you're looking at it on a waveform and you zoom right into it to where you're just seeing dots, sometimes you'll see that there's like a dot up here and a dot down here and a straight line. That's an indication of a dropped sample, and that will cause a snapping sound, and that's not a good thing. I'm not 100% sure what causes it, and I've started to see it. You know, for instance, I was using this AT2020 with this particular computer when I was recording something remotely somewhere, and I started to get snap, 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 and it became a crackle. George, what causes that kind of stuff?
Who, me? Oh, hang on a second.
Yeah, you. Remember?
I was talking on the chat room there. PC, right?
Yes.
Why did I know that? Because PCs generally have more glitches, audio problems, USB, blah, 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 unfortunately. But beyond that, it could be hardware conflicts. It could be too many USB device. Is it a USB audio interface? I'm sorry. We said it was the Edirol, right?
Yeah, well, actually, I got the MicPort Pro.
Oh, the MicPort Pro, okay. So you may have too many USB devices on your system. You may not have gone through the extensive list of troubleshooting and optimizing steps that are recommended to anybody using a Windows computer for recording audio. And I'll put that link in the show notes to one of these websites that gives you a really comprehensive list of ABCD of things that you can do to make sure your Windows machine is running to its absolute peak performance for recording audio. But, you know, recording audio in anything where you're capturing data in a stream, which is what you're doing with audio, there has to be a continuous stream of data without any interruption. The system has to be running, you know, really, really well for that. It doesn't have to be super high powered. I've been recording audio on a PC. I was recording on I think it was a Pentium 90 IBM laptop in like 1993, 94.
Pounds.
Yeah, but I was able to do it. And the thing is like the technology has always been there. It's just a matter of the system being optimized for that job. So you could try literally switching to a different USB port. You could try changing your USB cable. You could try making sure nothing else is running at all. It's a laundry list of things to try. But start by optimizing your system for recording audio. I mean, Google it. You'll find, type in your Windows operating system optimized for audio, and you'll find several FAQs on how to do that. And if you go through that process and the problem still persists, then it could actually be an issue with the MicPort Pro. But I've never heard this particular problem. I have heard of other issues with MicPort Pros, but not this particular one. So I think it's more likely the computer that's the issue here than the MicPort Pro itself.
Yeah. Another thing you might want to try, because you're using the MicPort Pro, if this happens with somebody else, if you're like using like a PreSonus Firebox or one of the M Audio products, maybe something that's multi-channel. If it's doing it on one channel, try putting it in the other channel and see if if that works. Because sometimes it might just be something within the framework of the machine itself, and it tends to happen on less expensive units than it does on expensive ones, which is what makes them expensive in the first place. So
the thing about that MicPort Pro is it's about as simple as it gets. So
that's true.
If your machine's having trouble with that unit,
it's probably the machine.
It's probably something interrupting the USB port. There's a lot of stuff sharing the USB bus on the computer, and I don't mean like a USB hub. And hopefully, let me ask you this: is it plugged directly into the computer or into a hub?
Directly into the computer.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're plugged directly into the computer, it's called a bus. The USB bus is what carries any data from USB traffic, and it all goes through the same central switch. It's the same central point in the USB system. So it's running into other stuff, and stuff is interrupting the flow. It just try that optimization process, and let us know what kind of results you get. It's having an optimized system is everything to getting good audio, especially in Windows.
Very good. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Thanks for calling, Tom, and
best of luck. Stay
warm up there in Toronto.
Absolutely.
It's warmer up there than it is in Buffalo. We won't get into that. Anyway, well, we're getting towards the end here. I know we don't want to go, but what else were you going to do tonight? But tune into our show. Right now, guess what? It's time for...
Is this thing on?
And now, it's time for another exciting episode of... Bad Audio of the Week.
Bars are making do with overpriced drinks and underwhelming food. You can be enjoying a happier happy hour at Fridays. Drafts start at $2, mixed drinks at $4. Appetizers, really good ones, are half price, and the bartenders put on a non-stop show of mixology virtuosity. Put more happy in your happy hour. Drafts from $2, mixed drinks from $4. Today, 4 to 6 at Fridays. Participating locations.
There you go. I don't know if you could hear that, Dan, but
yeah, I did.
That had a laundry list of stuff going on there.
Well, it wasn't a half bad read, to tell you the truth. But
no. This is a top. I'm not going to name him because I don't want people to get confused that he doesn't know what he's doing, because he certainly does. I set up his home studio, but this was done at an agency, and some of the worst audio problems I've seen to date are at the agencies.
Well, yeah, they don't know what's going on over there. See, now, and this is a whole nother discussion that these agency guys need to understand, that those of us with home studios and good home studios and have been well coached by folks like you and me, this isn't going to happen. One, I heard that there was an awful lot of acoustical problems in there.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hear all of it, but I just from the low level I was listening to it there, it's like, guy sounds like he's talking in a larger room.
Well, I tell you what I do know. It's a whisper room.
It sounds like a phone booth.
It's a whisper room with no acoustical treatment in it at all. Just the carpet. They didn't put anything inside it that I'm aware of. And it's inside a really fancy agency office. I'm sure with some hardcore air conditioning system in it. And so I think that's what the hum is. The hum is so bad that it sounds like electrical hum, but I think it actually is from the air. I think it's vibration. If a whisper room does anything well, it's amplify low frequency noise.
Yeah. Why do people buy these things? I mean, unless you live next door to an airport, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. I know in LA it's often a problem solver. But it does need a lot of extra work to get it to sound usable. I mean, you can't just get a whisper room, unbox it, put a mic in there, and have a great sounding studio. Far from it. And I know others like Mike Summer will agree big time. You actually have to like do a lot of acoustical treatment after the fact to get them up to usable snuff, and then you got to put a high pass filter on that mic, so there's no low frequency getting in there, and
lots of bass for a lot of bass reflex in a thing like that.
Man, big time, big time. So, I just wanted to. I have several agency clients. I do look to add some more, and each time I go to one, I'm often amazed at what they get by with. And I think I started thinking, well, I really pity the talent, their clients that go all the way into their agency. And in LA, it's a pain in the butt most of the time. Go in there, you go into that booth, and think that you're getting, something fantastic sounding. And so many times it's not the case at all. Right. They're using the lowest end gear, or they buy a really expensive mic, but the rest of the chain is really a mess, and the acoustics aren't there, and you can hear the air conditioning and all this stuff. So,
it's amazing that happens, and I think that it's important that a lot of the advertising people, and of course the people in the casting agencies are. I don't think they really get it, and I also think that they're probably, some are saying you got to go to the studio. Some are saying, yes, it's time for you to have a home studio. I don't see how you cannot go forward in this particular business at this particular time and not have a home studio.
And I think many say that you don't need a really great sounding audition. And I think that's the only people that can maybe get away with that is a celebrity.
Yeah.
Other than that,
yeah, Jeff Bridges is still going to sound like Jeff Bridges. It's just the way it is.
If they like the way Jeff sounds on the read, they're not going to care whether it's recorded in a bathroom or a yurt. It's not going to matter. But for the rest of the mere mortals out there, all the folks listening and stuff,
He felt hut in Mongolia.
Yeah, I've actually been in a yurt. It's pretty cool. Actually, it might actually make a pretty damn good booth.
Yeah, it's probably perfectly.
It's
perfectly tuned.
Fabric. It's round. I don't know, but it's so competitive now. If your voiceover audition doesn't represent yourself and your studio, now of course this is for people that are going to be doing the product from their own studio. It's really important there. But your audition is you and your studio, right? I think wouldn't you have to agree with that, Dan? I mean,
it's essential, and I can only remember one time, and it had to be about 10 years ago, when somebody said, "I can hear you using a noise gate," because I didn't have it set right, or something along those lines. That's the only time. Every other time, it's never been an issue, and as long as it's not an issue, it won't be an issue. You don't want it to be an issue. You want it to be transparent. You want your home studio to just sound the way that professional voiceover is supposed to sound. And in many cases, if you set your home studio up right and listen to the recommendations of good consultants who know home studios as opposed to what they know about big studio recording, it is a totally unique environment, and you need to totally customize it to you, your voice, your house, your dogs, all those sorts of things.
Your 2-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a loud one there, but fortunately you don't do any voice work.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend that, if you've got a home studio, make sure you know what to listen for. I mean, there's probably a whole college course in this, but we are available to help you out. And of course, as George was saying before, if you've got some audio issues or something, aside from asking us a question here on eWebs, you can send us our audio, me, home studio master at verizon.net. And George, you have a Dropbox?
Oh yeah, on my website, vostudiotech.com. You just click the register link at the upper right-hand corner. It just takes 10 seconds to register, and then you get access to the Dropbox. Drop me files in there. There's instructions on how to do it and what kind of audio I want to hear to give you the best feedback possible. And we'll make sure you get the absolute most objective advice we can possibly deliver. Right.
I have ears like a bat. I can hear the shape of a room. It amazes me. Like, you under a shelf? What makes you think I'm under a shelf? I can't tell. That sort of thing. Yeah. Anyway. We're going to be back in 2 weeks because it is the summer. We want to enjoy the summer with our families. I actually have to go running off next weekend anyway. But we will be back in 2 weeks which, according to Mr. Calendar, is July. What is that? It's July.
That should be 24th.
It is the 24th of July. We shall return. And who is going to be our special guest then?
Actually, I don't know. Who is our special guest? Oh, no, it's just kidding. It's DB Cooper.
That's right.
From VOBB and voice of 1,000 video games.
Yes.
And if Dan's going away next weekend. If you live in Los Angeles, I suggest that you don't go away next weekend, because everybody that knows in LA should know about the 405 being closed on Saturday, Sunday, and possibly a part of Monday.
I'll tell my mom.
That's like closing. That's like closing off I-95 between Manhattan and Philadelphia.
Yeah,
I mean,
really.
it's just like, talk about strangling the entire. It's amazing. You can go to their website and you can see the map, and they'll show you what happens when that road closes and where all the traffic has to go.
Right.
And you'll realize that now there's going to be 500,000 cars on every other street, which can't handle it as it is. So stay home or get a bike. My wife and I are going to be riding all over town. We're going to ride to fairs and flea markets, or it's going to be fun. It will be a car vacation.
There you go. Yeah, just stay on the side roads.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this particular week. I hope you had as much fun as we did. Are you having fun, George?
I am. I'm having a blast. I don't know why it took so long. Well, I just realized it about 2 weeks ago how much fun I really am having doing this. It really is a good time.
Yeah, it is.
Now that
it's not fun, why do it?
Yeah, now that I'm getting less nervous and my mouth isn't dried out by the end of the first segment, and
must keep yourself hydrated.
Yeah, keeping myself hydrated. It's a blast. So thanks everybody for coming along for the ride, and we'll keep doing it if you keep listening.
That's right. And again, if you have a question, now you have more time to give us one. It's ewebshop@gmail.com, and we'll be in touch with you, and you stay in touch with us. We'll be back in 2 weeks. I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East-West Audio Body Shop. Have yourself a great couple of weeks here, and we will see you on July 24th. Take care.